I am Jeff Foxworthy, and welcome to Gamekeeper Podcast. If you want to learn more about farming for wildlife and habitat management, then, buddy, you are in the right place. Join the Gamekeeper crew direct from Mossy Oak Land Enhancement Studio as they discuss the latest wildlife and habitat management practices, news, and, of course, hunting. There's no telling what you'll learn, but I'm going to tell you, I bet it's interesting. Enjoy.
We're live in 3, 2, 1.
Hey,
there we go, lady.
Who is that on the mic?
Action Jackson.
I'm telling you, he's just moving on up the corporate ladder around here, isn't he?
We are recording, aren't we, Jackson?
As far as I know.
Okay. All right.
I see something blinking over there.
I consider that a good thing.
There we go.
Well, guys, welcome to West Point, Mississippi, home of Mossy Oak. And today we've got a guest from across the pond. And Lenny, I'm not talking about Tibby Creek.
What?
Yeah. This is going to be really interesting.
It is.
Actually, she is from across Tibby Creek.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I guess so. Thank you, Doug. So, look, before we get their guests introduced, Lane, I want to tell you. So we've had a sponsor going on for a few months, Napa.
Napa know-how.
But I'm just going to say, if you're in our community, if you find yourself in the West Point area or Starkville, you got to go by and see Milton.
Go by and see Milton and the crew, no doubt about it.
I can't tell you, I've had some problems with my boat trailer lights and whatnot, and I'll go in there and he'll know exactly what I need to do. Hey, you need this.
We are in the Milton's Napa store locally, probably more than even the Mexican restaurant around here.
Probably so.
I would say so, yeah.
But
Jackson says no. Jackson says no.
They definitely have the local touch. I mean, if some of these other places, you can't go and get custom hydraulic hoses made.
That's exactly right.
Stuff like that. So check out your local Napa store. They got it going on.
Wealth of information there.
Yeah,
So.
we appreciate Milton. What a nice guy.
Yep. Oh, and by the way, he needs to borrow a drip torch, Dudley.
Okay.
There we go.
Yeah, well, let's get him a drip torch. One that works, Dudley.
I've got two, and one of them works. So
Dudley
he can have
does
the
a
working
heck of a
one.
job maintaining his drip torches, I have to say.
Yeah, he does. All right, let's look at we have got Dr. Natasha Neary.
In the house.
She's from England, Manchester, England, and she found herself all the way over here at
In
Mississippi
yeah.
That's right.
And welcome. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, appreciate you being here today.
I'm glad to be here.
She's got an interesting story, but she
hangs around with a rough crew over there, though.
She does.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, Lanny, she sat here and she started looking at all these deer heads.
Yeah.
I want to ask you, does Bronson not have big deer heads hanging up in his office all over the place?
He has a lot, yeah, but this is kind of something else. Walking into Mossy Oak is like, whoa, the camo, the deer heads.
Well, I have to give our props to our fabulous interior decorator, Bobby, here. He's the one that does all this.
So I'd like to think Bronson doesn't have this many over there. But they're not as big.
He doesn't have this many, and he pretty much only has deer, from what I remember.
Yeah. He's one species. He's a one-trick pony.
I knew you were going to take that opportunity to take a stab at your buddy.
Well, Natasha, we learned through Bronson that you're this math savant. Somehow you found yourself over here, and you grew up not around hunting, and you were actually maybe even a vegetarian. And you found yourself at the Mississippi State baseball
the Southern
field,
culture.
The
right.
left field lounge. There's always something. Guys, if you watch on the games on television, you see the smoke coming up out of left
It's
field.
one of my favorite places.
And somehow you found yourself over there and you smelled some venison cooking and you asked questions. And next thing you know, you're off the vegan thing or vegetarian thing. And now you're loving venison and you're working in the wildlife department. This is a story we've got to understand how this
that's how
unfolded.
you got here.
It's funny you mentioned the left field lounge, actually, because that's pretty much the place that drew me to Mossy Oak, I guess. I don't know where to start. So I was vegetarian all my life, actually, in England. And it wasn't, it was like a question of animal welfare, but it was also like, I just never liked meat when I tasted it. I was never interested. It just wasn't something I ate. And then, coming to Mississippi was different. I did not expect, I don't know what I thought I was walking into. I think I thought I was walking into like a swamp full of alligators. And I was like, I like alligators, this is going to be fun. But I didn't expect Starkville being as it was. I'm trying to think of where it all started.
Well, so let me ask you, so in England, the hunting is very different over there, but were you around it when you growing up, or I guess not.
No, I mean, I didn't know anybody that hunted, and I really don't think anyone in the general public, as a normal kind of person in England, you don't hear about hunting. We maybe hear about the royal family, right, hunting down foxes on horseback with dogs, and people don't like that very much. Sport hunting, people don't take to that very well.
Yeah, understandably.
Yeah, another thing you hear about is grouse hunting, pheasant hunting, and that has a bit of a bad reputation in England because people, there's been people that poison the hawks and eagles, and that's been an issue, so that's got a bad reputation. So hunting generally has a bad reputation over there. It's not got the sort of conservation feel that it has here, so I never even really thought about it, honestly.
It also has a feel of it's more of the sport of the elite over there, where the average guy here can go on some public land.
Yeah, there's not the access over there.
So is that the case?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, one of the things I loved when I moved here, and when I started thinking about maybe staying, I thought, wow, you can actually buy land here. Like, I mean like a backyard. I can get a couple of acres without being like a millionaire. In England, it's really hard. We don't have that much land. So you have to be pretty wealthy to be able to have a few acres even. And then you meet people over here, I meet people in Starkville, and they've got hundreds, thousands of acres. And you're like, wow, you can actually, this is the life you can live.
Yeah, it's way more accessible.
Yeah.
And I've been over there a couple of times, and like you said, you don't really see, when you're driving around or walking around in town, you don't really see people ever wearing camouflage or I think the only store I've ever seen was a barber store, that sells the jackets and such.
The green jackets.
But you don't really see
camo
or firearms, just displayed publicly like you do around here.
Yeah,
it's just a totally different vibe.
Especially in
now,
Mississippi.
When you get on a train and you're going between towns, you'll see deer sometimes out in the fields, and you'll occasionally see what looks like a shooting house. But that's probably just the farmer's shooting house. So it's not nearly as common, like she said.
Well, I will say, so I went a few years ago, went to London, went to England, traveled around. And one of the most interesting hunting stores I've ever been in my life was in London. And for the life of me, I can't recall the name of it, but it had been there for generations. Winston Churchill used to have, when World War II was going on, had secret meetings with these. It was something in Sons, and I don't know why I can't pull it up, but they sell Purdy and Sons, I think may have been the name.
Oh, the shotguns.
The shotguns. But it was just fabulous store. The clothing is incredible, but the shotguns and they were way out of my price range. But there was a lot of history there. During World War II, they would secretly meet, Churchill and some of his crew and the Allied guys would meet in this gun room and make plans, and then secretly leave, coming and going, and there were, when you were in the store, there were they left fragments of where it had been bombed, so the people could still see what it was like at that time. But it was in London, and it was a big time hunting store, big time.
Okay, but I'm sure the price tags hinted at
they wouldn't even let
hunting
me touch
not
a gun.
being accessible to most people over there.
I started drooling over some, and they said, "Sir, you're going to stand by.
You need to leave.
You can't. You're
waterproof, not
American
drool-proof.
Do you have an appointment, sir?
Yeah.
No, they were so kind. They did let me lust on everything in there, but
Well, the North American model of game management, I mean, it's unique to us, so it's really interesting to hear, perspectives of people that grew up in different places, because I don't know any different, Basically grew up in left field lounge. That's all, we really know. So I love hearing stories of people that didn't come up in our culture necessarily, and I say in this culture, and then introduced to it. So, how'd you end up at Mississippi State? Was it just studying?
No, I got a job here actually at Mississippi State. But before we talk about that, I think the reason why you guys hear about hunting in the UK is because you guys search it out. You are hunters, that is your life. So you go to a different country and you're searching it out. Whereas I just never saw it. I mean, I spent so much time in London and all over the UK, and I never ever even noticed a hunting store or met anybody that hunted. But when I talked to you guys and researchers and stuff in hunting, they're like, oh yeah, but I know guys that have shot a deer there, but average person doesn't. So that's the big difference.
Yeah.
But why I came to Mississippi, I guess I saw a job advertised at Mississippi State, was what I was interested in. So I use math to look at animal tracks. Not tracks as in we're looking for tracks, but when we have a collar on a deer or we have a tag on a bird or something like that, like I look at the data of where that animal's going. So they had a job at Mississippi State and I went for it and I got it. And I just moved over here. And yeah, the left field lounge was probably where it really started. I came just before baseball season. I came in the winter. I ended up going to the baseball. I'd never been to a baseball game before. We don't have it over there, so I'd never been. I didn't expect the party, which was awesome. Yeah, I didn't expect it to be like that. And I just went around talking to people. And this leads me on to Mossy Oak. This is almost an advertisement for Mossy Oak.
Hey,
So,
we'll take it.
So I was wandering around, and I'd never seen camo before.
Yeah.
People do not wear it. I mean, like, it's when it kind of comes into fashion. So I'd seen it in that aspect, but I'd never seen camo on that many people. I'd never seen Bottomland. I'd never seen it. So anyway, I walked past this guy and he was wearing camo overalls and a Mississippi State hoodie. And I was like, what on earth is this outfit? You look amazing. So I went straight over to him. We're friends now. I hang out with him at the left field lounge. I went straight over to him. His name's Jeff. And I said, what is this? What have you got on? I need to have one. And he said, you have to get yourself over to Mossy Oak in West Point. You have to go. And I went, like, that weekend, I went over to Mossy Oak. I got myself some overalls. And now we go to the games together, and we both got them on. And, yeah.
Blending
great.
right on in.
I mean, the bottomland is a theme.
Oh, of
over
course.
At
Yeah.
Mississippi State baseball
Yeah.
and football.
Yeah, no, period, it is.
What's the saying? Oh, dogs win again.
The dogs
You
win
see
again.
You see it all over those camo shirts. Dogs win again.
Yeah, so Bottomland was our one of the original, I guess, manifestations of Mossy Oak. Yeah, and it's great to see the resurgence. Big new song out, "Bury Me in Bottomland" by our boy Hardy.
That's right.
So it's actually on going on right now. So yeah,
So that's where you got exposed to some venison being cooked and.
Yes, yeah. Same rig at Mississippi State, actually. They really took me under their wing.
want to start feeding you right off the bat.
Yeah. Them, and also I met my husband too, and he's a very good, he cooked meat really well. So at that same time I met him, I met these guys, and these guys had hunted pretty much every animal you can think of, that you're allowed to hunt, and they're bringing it to the games, and they're like, oh, just try a bit, and I like to be ethical about this. So if someone's killed an animal and they're offering me that animal, I'm gonna try it. I don't want it going in the trash or anything that ought to be wasted. So I was taking it in, and yeah, I started to like it. People are really good cooks here. So I was like, wow, this is awesome. Yeah, I was a bit. The first time was a bit like, whoa, was when someone had bear meat, and I didn't even realize you could hunt bear. And then they showed me the picture of the bear, and they're like, here's a picture of the bear and here's the meat, and I was like, whoa, that was a step different to what I was used to. But I tried it and I liked it, and yeah, I started eating meat from then.
So venison specifically,
Venison,
yeah. Is there a special cut? Is there something that you like the best? Have you had fried backstrap or cook it as tenderloin on the grill where it's just kind of medium rare or even rare? What do you like?
I like it rare, yeah. I like backstrap too. I had Bronson actually cooked something. It was like a Mongolian beef but with venison. That was really good. I tried elk for the first time yesterday. Mariah, one of the guys I work with, he cooked some elk. But it's just the way people cook it. It's everyone cooks it so well, and now I've kind of got this like kind of ethics, if I can manage it, where I'm not buying meat from the supermarket if I can help. Like
Hit the horns.
I don't want to eat beef and like. What was that?
That's our horn.
Yeah,
That's
when
for
we-
good statements. We
yeah.
have good statements. We like
yeah.
to blow the horn.
It's like an
cool.
exclamation point.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah. So I don't turn down food at people's houses, but if I don't want to buy beef, I don't want to buy lamb, I don't want to buy pork from the supermarket. Try my best not to do it. And yeah, I like how people live like that here. It's
Yeah.
good.
So where's your husband from?
He's actually from Chicago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. And
Yeah,
he's at Mississippi State too?
He was down here with me. Yeah, that's where we met. Yeah.
Oh,
He's in
nice.
fisheries.
All
He
right.
does fisheries
Fisheries.
management. Yeah.
So what about fish? Had you eaten fish?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. I like being able to catch and eat, and that's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been fishing a lot. That's what I've got into. It's really good.
Yeah, fish is good. No doubt about it.
So why don't we do this right off the bat? Why don't we let Dudley do his rapid fire questions? We'll get to know her a little bit.
Yeah.
And Lanny and I've got a couple of things we want to ask you about the moon that we're a little confused
I knew you'd
about.
want to ask me.
Oh gosh, here we go.
All
I'm
right.
ready for the moon. You can
All
ask
right.
me.
Go ahead, Dudley.
Okay.
We've got, this is our rapid fire brought to you by our friends at Nutrient Ag Solutions. Yep.
That's right.
All right, Natasha, I'm going to ask you 10 or so questions fairly quickly. I'd like a quick answer. You can say no or neither. So, are you ready?
I am ready.
Okay. Do you prefer the weather back home or in the States?
1,000,000% here.
Okay. Which football team did you cheer for? Or do you cheer for over there?
Oh, Manchester City.
Okay. Which side of the outfield of the MSU left field lounge do you prefer?
Which side of the left field lounge? Oh, the one like in front of the apartments.
Okay.
Yeah, that part.
So that would be left field.
Yes.
I'm in right field.
Wait a minute.
Have-
What side of left?
so
field?
the left field lounge carries all the way across the outfield now.
Yeah, well, it turns into center field and then right field.
But it's
doesn't it?
still the left field lounge, Bobby.
All right.
Okay.
He's from Auburn. He wouldn't understand.
Have you ever been stung by nettles?
Oh, yeah, many times. Many times.
Do you prefer fish and chips in the UK, or do you prefer our version of fish and fries?
If you mean like catfish, I prefer catfish.
Okay. What North American big game animal intrigues you the most?
Oh, probably elk.
Okay. What is the last preparation of deer you remember eating?
That might be Bronson's Mongolian beef, maybe.
Okay.
Oh, no, wait. I had deer burgers last night, and they were awesome. Habanero hot honey deer burgers.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I'd have to write that one down.
Yeah, write that down.
Habanero,
That was
hot-
Luke Reesop and his wife cooking them for me clean.
All right.
We
Luke
had
in the
Luke
house.
last week.
Yeah.
Current favorite species of tree?
Oak.
Pick a favorite 10-degree temperature range in Fahrenheit.
80 to 90.
That's a good one. Least favorite biting insect in the States?
Ticks.
Good ones.
Good job.
Is that all of them?
That's it.
So this that store, it was James Purdy and Sons.
James Purdy and Sons.
Everybody's heard of Purdy shotguns. So,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. But if you
I
go over
hadn't.
there, when you go back to, I'm sure you'll go back at some point to visit or whatnot. You got to go by that store. It's pretty impressive.
I will. Yeah, actually, I forgot to mention before when you were talking about guns, our police don't even have guns. We just don't have guns. There's a few farmers with shotguns, but you have
Yeah.
to, it's pretty difficult to get one.
I recently, and I know this is off subject, but not kind of. I watched an Instagram video of a couple that came to the South for a vacation from the UK, and they had this little checklist of stuff they wanted to do, and one was to see an alligator. It was the first thing. So they went to a nice public boat ramp. It looked like it was in the South somewhere, definitely, and a random local picked them up in the boat. And they just had a wonderful time, I believe.
I think I saw that same
Did you
thing.
see that too?
Yeah, that was good.
Anyways, the gun thing came out. They were like, "Have you ever shot a gun?" They're like, "We're never seen a gun." And then they're on the riverbank. They
They're
broke
probably
them out.
shooting a gun off the bank.
Yeah, they were shooting the guns off the bank.
Yeah. So Natasha, in England, they have Gamekeeper College. And the word gamekeeper is used prominently over there. I remember picking up, there were some hunting magazines when I was over there.
Yeah.
So did you hear that word, the word gamekeeper, when you were growing up?
Honestly, no. I mean, I think, like you said, I think it is kind of for the wealthy over there. It wasn't something, that where I lived, where my family lived, that I ever came across.
Well, I think it term is who took care of the manor. Isn't that right?
That's right. Yep.
And I've heard stuff of, they have public land over there, don't they? It's like the Queen's land, do they call that? Or is there publics? Or are there commons?
Yeah, there's a lot of public land, but also farmland. I don't really know how it works, but there's, the public are allowed to walk through farmland. So if we go hiking or something and go out into the countryside, we can walk across people's land.
Really?
Yeah.
What if they have Onyx over there?
I'm
My
sure they
Onyx
do.
worked over there, but
It did?
it didn't have the
Ownership.
specifics that you can.
I wouldn't want to
that
let
you can
somebody
use
just,
over here. I saved a bunch of waypoints.
if I had a lease over there, I would not want somebody just all of a sudden from the city showing up with a backpack and hiking through it.
They do.
It's different.
It's different.
You
It's
know,
just-
some of the national parks over there are privately owned. It's just things just operate different over
yeah.
there.
Like Stonehenge is privately owned?
I don't
That's
know
a
the
good
answer
question.
to. But one of the biggest national parks I drove through was in Scotland, and they said the majority of it was privately owned.
I don't think you'll be picking up a lease over there anytime soon, so you don't have to worry about that.
So it sounded like you kind of grew up kind of sheltered. You weren't introduced to the manly sports that we all enjoy so much, but you found them. That's the most important thing. Have you had a
Yes.
chance? Now you're working for Wildlife Investments.
Yes.
And you're doing this data work for them. They're a great company. They're just right out of the shot it like a cannon coming out. It's a dream team of these biologists that are helping people with their properties. But have you had a chance yourself to go hunting?
I've had a chance, but I have not shot anything, and I'm almost not sure I'm ready. So I'd never shot a gun when I came here 3-4 years ago. I ended up being friends with a mechanic and his wife who lives locally, and they have land, and so they taught me how to shoot. First time I'd shot, they taught me how to use a rifle. And so I did try a little bit on their land. And since I've been out with a few people and I've not yet had the opportunity to shoot anything. And I'm not sure I'm ready. Like, I'm so worried about injuring an animal and not actually killing it
Yeah.
that I feel like I need more practice.
I think
That's a great
yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
No, 100%.
Yeah,
Because
it's
it's all, even the quality of the meat is dictated by, the shot placement and just what you're talking about. So very important to be focused on that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, that's the
My
right.
my daughter and I have a deal where I collect the deer meat for her. She's in culinary school and she will not pull the trigger, but she cooks it.
She'll prepare it, yeah.
She prepares it.
Yeah.
And man, does she do a good job.
And the great thing about it, I mean, we all loved deer meat, loved deer all together, but the experience out there, just being out there.
Yes.
My wife enjoys going, and she'll have plenty of opportunities, but she won't take them because she's reading a book, just enjoying herself out there, and doesn't want it to necessarily end. So, yeah, hang with it.
That's exactly what I've been like going
Yeah.
out with my husband or going out with other people. Is I just love the experience. I love going out, at night, like
Yeah.
4 a.m. or whatever, and then seeing it get light and just sitting there in the woods. It's been so nice.
That's it. That is it.
Yeah, and you'll know when you're ready.
Yeah, you'll know when you're ready.
So, as one who maybe didn't really have a predisposition for or against hunting, did you notice things when you were here that maybe that we as hunters are doing that was kind of negative to you, and on the same token, have you noticed things that have been like positive that hunters are doing?
I think the most positive thing I see is when somebody's using the whole animal. They're really trying their best. They're processing it themselves, maybe if they're able to, and they're really taking care to use the whole animal, and only harvest what they need to, as well. Like I see a lot of people who actually want to harvest does because they're not interested in getting something on the wall. They just want the meat, and that's really positive.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, but now don't throw some shade on people.
Yeah, I love those kind of people.
Interested in antlers. We ate all of Hercules. Have you noticed she's been staring at Hercules?
Yeah,
since
well, I
she's
mean,
been here?
Hercules is impressive, that's for sure.
I don't. When did you get your last buck?
Dude, I don't know how long it's been since
He
I've
is a
killed a
doe
buck.
killing thing.
Yeah,
I
and
think
I'm in
maybe 10 years for me.
Yeah, it's been a long time. Now, obviously I've been with Hayden on a lot of his, so. But
You're in a stage where that's taking precedence over everything. It's getting him on opportunities.
Yeah, 100%. I've always just enjoyed managing deer herds. I mean, I always have. And I love big bucks, I think, more than anybody. Maybe not more than you do, Bobby. I don't know. And it's part of that great thing. But, yeah, no, the whole experience is what's good for me. Just like you're talking about, just spending time outside, seeing the sun come up, and being out there is great. Now, don't get me wrong. I have 2 boys, so we eat a lot. I'm a meat hunter. There's no doubt about it.
So, Natasha, Lanny and I, Dudley as well, we have the utmost respect for Bronson and the research that's going on over there. And 99% of everything just makes total sense. And he explains it, and we're going, that is why that is happening. That makes sense. But we can't wrap our mind around this full moon thing because we
Right.
think the hunting is better when that moon is full. There's something going on, especially during the rut. And could you have possibly interpreted the data a little bit? Is there something there?
We just want to know, did he incent you to skew the data a little bit,
With the full moon in particular, that's a tricky one because of cloud cover. It's almost like in some of the data I look at nighttime, you can almost see a slight increase, but statistically, it's just not enough for me to say there's something going on here. What we focused on more than just the full moon at night is this solar lunar stuff, because that's, in legal hunting hours, what the solar lunar calendars show us is that there's certain periods of time, or they approximate that there's certain periods of time where the deer might be more active.
Yes.
So we've been focusing more on that. The full moon is interesting, and there's more research on that with every kind of species. There's so much research with different species on that. But we've been more interested in the solar lunar stuff.
That's pretty fascinating.
Yeah.
But through the years, a lot of people have made decisions about when they're going to take vacation and whatnot. And it could be that there's just more hunters out at that.
There's no doubt about that. I mean, Mariah talked about that last week. When we always ask, do you think the moon affects deer movement? And Mariah said, I know it affects hunter movement, which is a great point for sure.
It certainly affects a lot of things, though. Like, it affects fish. I think that's any
there's
debate.
No doubt about
of course.
it. Well, the moon affects the tides, the gravitational
does.
pull.
But like that we just did a show with this young lady. We've had 2 young ladies back to back.
Look at you.
We had this lady from Minnesota. We were talking about muskies, and I experienced I sat in a boat casting this really heavy plug all day long, and our guide in Minnesota said, guys, when that moon rises up and it's at the top of those trees right there, that's when it's going to get good. And as soon as we had to fish all day till it got till about 5:30 or 6 o'clock in the evening, and that moon got right on the top of those trees, and we caught a muskie. And it made me think there was something to it.
Well, with fish, there is research that shows that the phase of the moon, whether or not it's full, and the position of the moon, if it's overhead, underfoot, that does affect fish, which makes sense because it affects the tide. So certainly ocean fish. There is some research with freshwater fish too, showing there's something going on, which again makes sense. If it's a large body of water, there's some effect. But with the deer, no.
Yeah.
It is statistically insignificant.
Well, and it's interesting because it is part of the Southern culture, because as a young child, I remember watching the local weather, and they talked about what it was going to do, and they would tell you every forecast when's going to be the best time to fish, best fishing, best hunting time. So it's been kind of ingrained in us to think about it that way. And here particularly, my personal experience is that our rut, here peaks about the same time as the full moon in that particular times in December. So, and I've looked at the data. If you look at those, they both peak at the same time. But then, of course, I'm like, well, of course it affects it. And then Johnson's like, well, I mean, wouldn't the rut affect it? And I'm like, well, hold on just a minute,
So what's a day like for you at Wildlife Investments or Mississippi State? Are you full-time Wildlife Investments now? Or?
I'm currently still with Mississippi State, so end of September I'll be with Wildlife Investments. I also work with a sister company. We have Southern Ag too, so I'll be working for both of them. And I'll pretty much be doing the similar stuff to what I do at Mississippi State, which is looking at data. So I look at both the white-tailed deer that we have in Mississippi, and I look at feral hogs that we have in Mississippi too.
Ooh.
I look at different things. Mostly I look at movement and activity. So that's what led us to the moon, is I look at activity. And one thing I spent a lot of time studying recently is the whitetail activity that we have in Mississippi. So I mean, like, when are they bedded down and when they're not bedded down? How far are they traveling? And I've been looking at it against the moon, against the weather. We also know in some places when stands are being hunted, we know where the food plots are, some feeders are, and things like that. So I kind of look at when they're active. I mean, overwhelmingly, it's the rut is the main one. The rut and dawn and dusk are the huge effects compared to everything else.
The bedding study, I think another one you referenced was amazing to look at the data points and how those deer are actually moving, and it proved the fact that they have multiple bed sites and what they're doing. It's really intriguing.
And aren't y'all doing something now with like you're trying to determine if the wind affects where that buck moves when he gets up out of his bed?
Yeah. I've looked quite a bit at the wind. So just looking at the wind in general, when bucks are on journeys from maybe waking up to a food plot, or sometimes from food plot to food plot if it's far enough away, basically whenever we can get a good direction, and when we're certain that the buck is moving from a place to a place, you know, and what's going on with the wind. If the wind's over like 6-8 miles an hour, so we know there's a wind that they can feel. What we can see is there's a slight preference for moving in line with the wind, not necessarily against, not necessarily with, but that axis where they're along the line of the wind, there is a preference with that. But it's not massive. Like, you know, when compared to when I see things with the rut and I see things at dawn and dusk, it's not huge, but we see a slight preference.
What about your job do you enjoy the most? Because you're not necessarily a hunter, so you're looking at all this wildlife information. What does anything about that just really excite you?
Oh yeah, I mean anything that makes a difference. Like I do love, you know, sitting in front of the computer and doing math and all that stuff. I do love it, but the best part is when it makes a difference. When I can talk to people like you guys, when I can go to Bronson with a result, when we can, you know, when we can meet landowners, when I can talk to the general public that are interested. Like that's the best part of the job.
You know what's interesting? You know, do we have any data landing?
No.
You know,
It's Kentucky winds. You lick your finger and you put it in the air, and you say, okay, this is which way we need to go.
It's really interesting when science meets like just the average guy. Like I would consider us very average.
Good.
And we start trying to apply science to what we're doing to understand things. That is, what you learn is pretty fascinating.
Very fascinating. I mean, I think that's what gamekeeping is all about is you know, make the best decisions you can, and then, you know, but listen and be open-minded to what's going on out there.
Yeah, and people do that differently.
Yeah,
you know,
that's
I keep
right.
data in my mind. There's a lot of people that keep a spreadsheet going for
That's
every
right.
hunt or every time they visit their land.
Or every time they're planting a crop, you know, they are that detail oriented. And I tell you what, you know, keeping track of that data will help you make better decisions. It just will.
Yeah. So when you were going to college,
Yeah.
did you were you thinking I want to somehow be involved with wildlife, or were you just trying to learn how to be are you a statistician? Would that be the word?
I would say a mathematician.
Mathematician. Oh,
Yeah.
that scares me.
Yeah.
When you say mathematician.
You had to take your shoes off to get that far.
I couldn't get past that algebra 3. Just hung me
3?
up. Yeah. Well, yeah.
You didn't make it to 3. Quit lying.
No, I love calculus. But no, I went to do math at university level just because I didn't know what else to do and I wasn't good at anything else. And I had no idea what to do. And then I was actually a high school teacher for a few years and I loved that, but I got kind of bored. And I did want to be involved somewhat in the natural world. Like I wanted to do something. And I did a master's actually before I taught. I did a master's. And I started learning about disease spread, you know, like all the stuff with COVID, using math to see how disease was spread. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. And then I ended up doing a project which was using maths to see how leopards get their spots. Baby deer fawns, how they're getting their spots, and how, you know, the fact that when a deer grows up, the spots go away. And so I did a whole project on that. And that's what kind of led me into this. And instead of looking at like leopard spots, fawn spots, I now look at like spots which are animals' ranges. So when you see animals who live in home ranges, what that means is like, especially territorial animals like deer in the rut, and they kind of live in their own space, right? They live in their own space. We call them home ranges. So I that's what got me all interested in it. And then I somehow ended up working with Bronson on different ways of looking at deer activity and things, and that's what led me here.
Well, can we go back to the deer and their spots? What did you learn there?
It's more stuff that will not be interesting to you at all, which is like the chemicals which create the spots and then make them go away, and the way that works, and how we see it pretty much in every part of nature. Like it even links to have you heard of like the golden ratio? It's all to do with how many petals are on a flower. So when you look at a flower, there's always a certain number of petals, 5, 8. It goes in a sequence, and it all links together, which is just crazy.
That's wild.
Whoa.
It's God code, man.
Yes.
Wow.
He don't even know what to ask you now.
Yeah.
You just set him aback. He's like, whoa, man.
He just broke his brain.
Yeah. There's smoke coming out of it.
So if you shaved a mature deer if you shaved all the hair off,
Here we
would
go.
would you be able to see where the spots were on that hide at one time?
I mean, I can't say for sure, but I think unlikely. Unlikely. But it's just the way that the chemicals inside the body of animals as they grow and the way those patterns change. You can basically write equations to show that that's happening.
And that would show, like, would that show size potential? Or, I mean, is it that finite?
I don't think we don't. The thing about this is we barely, as a human species, can prove this in a lab. Like barely.
That it's even happening.
People, it's very slowly. Some amazing people are very slowly starting to show this with fish. So us knowing that about a big mammal like a deer, we just don't know. Like the math shows things are happening, but when we actually look at the chemicals, it's like so slow for us to prove. Yeah, we've got so much to learn.
Is there a finite number of spots? Do all fawns have the same number of spots?
I don't know.
I doubt it.
There's several hundred on there. I've read that. Just this morning, I've been suspicious, and I didn't want to believe it, but I have been seeing 3 fawns. And walking by a camera, and I kept telling my wife, it's probably one's got twins, and there's another doe off camera that we're not seeing. But just this morning, and I sent it to Rob, we posted it, there was a doe walked in front of my camera, 3 fawns ran up behind her, and all 3 started nursing at the same time. I sent it to Bronson, and he said, wow. And he said triplets. Yeah. So I think that's I don't think that happens all that often. I'm not sure.
You needed more deer out
It's
there.
all that clover you've got out there. Is what it is.
It is.
Yeah.
But I am fascinated how these little fawns, if you're up close to them, these spots are so vivid and bright. But then when they back off a little ways and they lay down, they just blend in. You can't see them.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And nature just is
So
so
fascinating.
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's the purpose of the spots. That's not my area of science, but that's what they say is the patterns on the animals. They have a purpose to camouflage them, right?
Yeah, and in the sunshine, if they lay down in that dappled sunshine, they just disappear.
Yeah, and it doesn't. I mean, you can see them on the edge of a swamp and they're hidden, or in the prairie and they're hidden, or in the woods and they're hidden. You know, they're just super adaptive.
Yeah, they really are. So, well, what you're doing over there is really. There's some fascinating stuff, and you mentioned that you're doing some stuff with feral pigs. That might be a good place for you to start hunting. If you
get mad at them,
you could go somewhere and get after a pig. That would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, I hear that. I mean, I know they're pretty much everywhere because I see the data and I hear all the stories. But I honestly think I'd like to start with shooting something for meat. Mm-hmm. And I'm not sure. I hear mixed stories about the meat on the feral hogs. What do you guys think?
We do too.
I have a mixed opinion myself.
I like it. It's a mild flavor. It kind of takes on the flavor of whatever you cook it in. Mm-hmm. I prefer deer. It's a more robust flavor.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, the fat on a wild pig is really useful. Yeah. You know, you can make lard out of it. It's very flavorful. So.
I've struggled with this myself because they are on our most wanted list for sure, and it's a full-time job to control them. And then you're left over. So thankfully, we've got places that take them around here.
Yeah, the jail here in town, you can drop a pig off, and they.
Yep. Clean it.
They come out. I got nervous one time when these guys came out there, and I was like, "Oh my goodness!" But they took every one of them in, and they were going to clean them and eat them.
That's great. I love hearing that.
We've had people sit right where you're sitting that swear that they absolutely love, and there's something about the preparation. There's some glands that they try to get out.
Most of them love them. I mean, I'd say the majority of people. I think my disdain comes because I just hate them that much.
It's very mild. There's nothing gamey about it. To me.
Yeah.
And our friend Chris Herring, with his meat processing plant, he's one of the few places around that will process a pig for you, and they make a sausage that's really good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Mr. Bill Gibson at the kennel loves it. Sure does.
Yeah. So you got that. You get you a bunch of sausage there. But I think your approach to all this is pretty interesting, and I love that you're thoughtful and you want when the time's right, and you think that you're a good enough shot. That you want to do all those things before you actually go on a hunt. That's very thoughtful, and that's how it ought to be. And could you backtrack a little bit and tell us, when you were in England, what contributed to you worrying about the source of like meat from the grocery store? Was there an event that happened, or did you hear of something, or?
I don't think there was a particular event, but there was so many things growing up, like documentaries and stuff. And so I'd be exposed to them. Most of them I wouldn't watch because I didn't want to. But it was, I didn't like that I didn't know. And then hunting's been a weird one, actually, because my family are kind of upset with me for the profession I've chosen here. Mm-hmm. Because they do eat meat, actually, my whole family. But they don't understand how someone can shoot an animal, yet they are happy going to the supermarket and eating. And we just butt heads. We both can't see But then again, when I lived in England, I wasn't exposed to hunting, so I never saw your guys' views and my view now. I never saw that.
Right.
But then when I moved here and I started talking to people and I started to grasp everything, I was like, yeah, this is the right way to do it. Yeah,
And
it is a complete conundrum.
And we're just a couple generations removed from everybody. Whether you hunted it or raised it, you were still killing it.
Yeah, on the place.
And I'm sure we probably have a similar argument, but my argument is that wild animal had an amazing life.
Yeah, that's right.
No fences,
free range,
not in tight quarters, not
primarily
being forced
organic.
to eat a particular thing.
That's right.
Not and granted, I love farmers. I go to the grocery store and get meat as well, but that would be the best argument. Is that wild animal? It got to do everything it wanted to do and had a great life.
Mm-hmm. And you're obviously benefiting. Making decisions that benefit the whole too, because of overpopulation and everything else. So,
So what you're doing now with wildlife investments, the people the customers, the clients that y'all work with, these guys they're like our gamekeeper guys.
Oh yeah.
We've got them from the guy that's got 4 acres to the guy that's got 4,000, which is probably more in line with what you guys do. But everybody is working to improve their habitat.
Yeah.
They're and so many species benefit that are even non-consumptive species that benefit. Just wild birds migrating through, wrens and tufted titmouses, and all this stuff benefits from the work that we do on our properties.
And you often hear about the Arbor Day, and I'm going to stump a little bit here about how many trees they plant and how much the World Wildlife Fund has done, but you can't even quantify the amount of wildlife habitat that gamekeepers and the hunting community has created over the years. And it is the hardest thing to understand for most people is it's because we love them that much is what's the crazy thing about it.
Yeah, I saw somebody scrolling, forgive me, I don't know your name, but it was a really good point. And he said that we put a value on these wildlife that nobody else really can.
Good point.
And when you value something that much, you're going to take care of it.
That's right.
Yeah, I know we're hunting it. I know we're killing it.
Yeah.
But we value them so much that we're providing them a house and a home, and we're not taking all of them. We're helping to create more.
Mm-hmm.
And we're paying for the privilege.
That's right.
Through our hunting license and buying stamps and whatnot. And all that money goes back to help habitat and again, it benefits so many different species.
Yeah, nobody values the life of an animal more than, I would say, me, the hunter.
Yeah, me neither. No, I wouldn't think so either.
Yeah, and there's a solemn moment there, and hopefully you'll experience this when you take up an animal's life. There's a celebration. There's certainly joy and there's excitement, but it's also. It's kind of there's a moment there when you thank that animal for what it's done. And
I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, and I've heard of people thanking the animal and telling me that they do, and I love to hear that.
Yeah, I think there's some traditions in Europe, and it may be Germany, where they place a leaf in the. I think they have red deer over there. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, if they kill a stag, then there's a ceremony where they put a leaf in the animal and they thank the animal, but it's a whole ceremony where all the hunters come together, maybe after the hunt's over with. But I would love to have somebody eventually come tell us that whole story of how that occurs. But that is an event that occurs over there.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of the celebration and the thanks. It's all rolled into one.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it.
I'll have to find out about that for you because I've not heard of it in England, but that sounds really nice.
Yeah.
It's a celebration all the way around.
It is. Well, Natasha, so what else about your job would surprise us that we wouldn't know? Is it, I mean, what have you learned about wildlife that just kind of really said, wow, I didn't know that?
That surprised you? Gosh, I don't know. What's surprising in terms of meeting people is the difference between the conservation model in the UK and here, and working in wildlife departments there and here. Is here it's just such a range of, I mean, at Mississippi State there's a lot of hunters, but it's not the same at every university and school here in the US. There's lots of researchers that care, much more about saving a tiny little bird species.
Sure.
And everyone has such a different outlook, but everyone gets along pretty well. So I guess that's surprising in a way.
Okay, so we're going to turn the table on you, Natasha. Give
Okay.
you a chance. You've traveled over here from England. You're immersed in this culture. What questions would you have for us?
Ooh.
If you want me to ask something controversial,
Yeah.
Ooh.
We can handle it.
Maybe.
what is the attraction in sport hunting?
Very good question. I particularly am not into sport hunting. I think it can be related to a little bit of to access for people. So people from more urban environments might not necessarily have been exposed to the kind of game management and hunting that we do outside of those urban areas. And their only way to get exposure to it is to pay to go to hunt somebody's place. So I'm torn by it because I know it's a lot of people introduced into the sport, and hopefully in their journey they end up, not, I guess, sport hunting or, definitely participating in free range game activities for sure. But it's an interesting thing, and it's also an interesting thing that the effect that is having on our wild game populations too.
So the way I interpreted that question was, and I could have missed it because I missed a lot of things, but I took that as like the guys wanting to kill great big deer or great big elk.
No, not necessarily. I actually mean killing something and not using it.
Yeah.
I don't agree. But
anybody agrees with that.
I'm not a fan of that.
Not at all. No.
So and I'm not.
Now, one example that comes to mind is like offshore fishing, where you catch a 1,800 pound marlin and kill it. It has to come in and get weighed. And so you show up with a dead fish that's longer than this table. But the answer to that is it gets donated and eaten anyway. So they are sport fishing.
I don't know of any preserves, what I call hunting preserves, which I would consider more sport hunting, that are wanting and wasting game. I don't know of any of those.
There might be a guy that shows up and shoots a limited quail, but then he doesn't take them home with him.
But
they
then
get given
them
to,
and put them up.
they're given to somebody else.
The ones I'm
That's
familiar
great.
with. Now I know that as much good as hunters do out there, it doesn't take but one to give us all a black eye. So we know there's people that are operating, outside of the code of ethics, and it's a shame that sometimes we get boxed in with those guys from one simple action. But I can tell you, everybody here, waste is not on it. It's all about utilizing every portion of it.
And I could see a scenario where a guy, maybe his wife didn't like to cook it or doesn't like venison or whatever, and maybe he might be a hunter and he might kill a deer, but he would make a point to make sure somebody took the
There's great
the meat.
organizations like Farmers and Hunters Feeding the Hungry.
Yeah.
Most of these places you're getting processed around here will actually process and donate those to shelters. Like our buddy Jeff Foxworthy donates a ton of all their venison from his farm, and he's got a vegetable garden where he's donating for homeless shelters in Atlanta. So, but yeah, I would say all of us here are against what we would call wanton waste. which is harvesting an animal and leaving him lay. That is totally against everything that this place stands for. Trophy hunting, everybody, even me who considers himself a meat hunter more than a trophy hunter, has dreams of a giant deer or a giant big buck.
Yeah.
It's just part of the allure of it.
That's right.
So I mean, that I think that's part of the culture all around. But it's definitely a major difference in between, dreaming about a big buck and then shooting stuff and not taking care of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so like Teddy Roosevelt, and back in the day, they started the Boone and Crockett Club to try to recognize the largest elk. What does a mature animal look like? What does a mature whitetail look like? A mule deer. And that Boone and Crockett Club was started to be able to show people, because at that time some of those land there was thought we might lose some of this, and it was a way to put some like a parameter of a 170 whitetail. That's a glorious whitetail.
That's a giant whitetail.
Yeah, and I can see how like Boone and Crockett scores and things and doing that can like help young people get into hunting, and so that has a big value to it. But I guess as long as people aren't shooting the biggest buck they see and then not using the meat because it's not their favorite meat or whatever, then it's all good.
I just don't hear a lot of that, and I may not be seeing it, but I don't hear a lot of that.
I mean, I know it is.
It happens.
It happens for sure. And you get road hunters and people that shoot deer and can't find them, and they're not only what they're doing is illegal, and then on top of that, what they're doing is completely unethical too. So.
Yeah, I did a European mount for a young lad a couple months ago where he found the deer head out at the soccer fields.
Oh yeah,
and he wanted.
You fix it up for him.
Yeah, his mom was like, "We are not taking that home," and I was like, "Well, I'll get it ready for you, and then you can have it." Well, lo and behold, there was a .22 caliber hole in the back of his head.
Mm-hmm.
So. Someone did exactly what you were talking about. They shot it and left it laying there.
And there's always been poachers. Going back to where you grew up, Robin Hood. That whole little story. There's always been poachers killing the king's deer, and then there's bad apples. Speaking of Robin Hood, I'm looking at Dudley.
Oh yeah,
it's proof that a blind
he took
hog
that
will find an
bear
acorn.
Gamekeeper bow back there this morning
And shot his first
Robin
Robin.
Hood.
shot my first Robin Hood.
Yeah, that's
I
pretty
just
cool.
got it back from getting tuned at the local bow shop.
Look at you, all tuned
I'm
up.
out here Robin Hooding already.
Is that your first
He
Robin
must
Hood?
be. He must be prepping up.
Yeah.
We got that tournament coming up, so
Yeah.
bring it. Bring it.
What about how do you have you developed an opinion about archery versus rifle or any of that?
Actually, that's something I asked Bronson about last year because my husband has a bow that I can't use. It's too strong. I can't pull back the string. I'm not strong enough. So I was thinking, should I get a bow or should I get a rifle? Because I want to be the most ethical. I want the deer to be suffering for the least amount of time. And I am terrible with a shotgun. I was thinking about turkeys then. I am so bad with a shotgun that at Mississippi State, they do this great program for new students, and I joined it, and it's teaching you how to duck hunt and use a shotgun. And I realized pretty quickly that I am terrible with a shotgun. Like I don't want to just injure a load of ducks and then leave them to die. So I went off that pretty quickly. But deer, I was thinking about. Well, I can shoot a rifle pretty well. I'm not a bad shot. But would I be better getting a bow and doing that instead in terms of them having less pain and wandering around for less time? And I don't think we came to a conclusion. So that's something maybe you guys can give me some information on.
Well, you're a petite young lady. I don't know how much weight it would take you but you would need to work into a bow. But I would think the rifle would be a good start. Mm-hmm. That would be where I'd get a few under my belt with the rifle.
We've actually seen a little bit of data on this. If y'all remember, Dr. Baumgardner broke some stuff down for us based on he's a surgeon in Starkville and just a whiz at anything he decides he wants to know about. He's super data driven. You'd have an appreciation for him. But I believe, and y'all correct me if I'm wrong, the official time of death, I guess, how long it took from the shot before the animal was completely down, was pretty similar between a vital shot with a bow and a vital shot with a rifle.
7 seconds.
7 seconds.
Pretty
So,
quick.
but from my personal experience, the shot placement, on your first harvest, with Bobby, for a more clean, ethical, quick experience, I would recommend a rifle for the first time too.
Yeah, you can really do some damage to some nervous tissue quickly with a rifle compared to a bow, which is going to be more blood loss, oxygen loss.
Yeah.
Well, there's some statistics about ladies, and typically a lady with a rifle and a bow for that matter.
They're
let's
way
just say
better
right.
shooters.
They're-
It's just
You
bottom
guys
line.
are, you guys are, because you care and you're going to make sure
Yeah.
you wait for that right opportunity. But through all my life, I've always heard that ladies were better shots
Yep.
with a rifle
because they
than
don't
guys.
have such big egos. They're not after big deer all the time.
I've got a daughter that grew up hunting, shot her first deer at about 7, and still today hunts. And it will drive me crazy because I'll be sitting next to her and I'm like, go ahead. But she's waiting for that
Just right
animal to
shot.
turn just right, and she squeezes. It's always one shot. We never have to. It's just we
Shot placement's everything with archery
it is.
and with rifle. Now, shot placement with a bow, there's just a lot more factors that come in. I mean, it just is. It's closer. It's more personal. You got to draw your bow. There's just a lot of other factors that come into play. Where with a rifle, you get.
And sometimes little boys, you say, okay, and they have squeezed the trigger for you.
You
Say,
gotta watch
okay.
it. That's right. Shot placement's everything, though. So I'm glad you asked that question.
Yeah.
Now, I will tell you, as much as I would say, if I had to pick something that I love the most, it would be turkey hunting. But I will say, nothing gets me more physically and mentally excited to shooting a whitetail with a bow. There's, I mean, as far as heartbeat and adrenaline and everything else,
You're up close.
real
it's
up
intense.
close.
Yeah.
It's intense. It is.
Hunting is a great sport, and it's a great way. You and your husband could have a great afternoon sitting in a blind together. And that's way more important than
And never
killing an
shoot a
animal.
thing. That's the
Yeah.
big thing. I mean, some of the best times are. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
exactly right.
it really can bring people together,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's just and being around the campfire at night. No, there's so much to it. Hunting, I just absolutely love every aspect.
We
of
should
it.
take them hunting. How about that?
You should.
Yes, we will. I
You
will.
Well,
You
I would
should.
love that.
Yeah,
That'd be
yeah.
great.
Laney's got this.
We
big,
got a great spot for
Yeah.
you.
Oh yeah, awesome. I'll take you up on that.
All right, cool.
Why don't we? And look, the wheels could run off right here, Laney. I don't know. Jackson, we've got a trivia question. It's your turn now to participate in this.
Jackson in the house.
Yeah.
Fully ready.
And look, I have made sure that our guest here has a can of boiled peanuts to take home with him. Because
Oh.
I bet you've never eaten many boiled peanuts.
She's hung
Well,
out
I
in the left
actually
field lounge.
have. Yeah, I mean, gas stations in Starkville. People insist I eat them, and I like the spicy ones.
All right, me too.
There you go. Well, our trivia question is brought to you by the Peanut Patch,
That's our
which
buddies.
those same gas station peanuts that you're talking about, that's the Peanut Patch. All right, Jackson.
I'm a little worried she's going to crush this immediately, but
It's okay.
here's your question. Only 2 women have ever been featured on the cover of the Field and Stream magazine. One of them was a very famous British huntress. Who was she?
Honestly, I
Think
have
about this now.
absolutely no idea unless it's Princess Anne.
You're in the right category of
Ooh,
It
the
is a
kind of
princess.
person it is.
is it Queen? Was it Queen Elizabeth?
It was.
Hey,
Queen
Hey, she killed it.
You know, was a heck of a hunter. She loved it.
Yes.
Oh, that's cool.
I watched that movie, The Crown, and the way they portrayed her, she was very. And I read some more about it. Laney, she would talk to her joining landowners and talk about big stags that were in
Don't
the
shoot
area.
my big buck. I'm the queen.
Yeah. Is that one still over there?
Yeah.
She was really into
He
it.
better
Yes.
be.
And I'm told she was a great shot too.
I bet she was. I mean, we have some big red deer, and probably like the Queen's place is in Scotland. She probably had some huge.
I bet
red
she's
deer.
got a great spot.
Yeah. Do you know if you go home, have you got an inn there that'd be a good hunt to go on.
I could probably find one now.
Yeah, you know what? We did not draw a winner for the we failed.
Not a review winner?
Yeah, Jackson, you didn't do that, did you?
I found one actually earlier.
Look
while
at
we
you,
were
so
Bobby.
who-
You were completely understating Jack.
Employee of the
Yeah.
month right here.
Who
I'll
won
take
the
that title.
Who won the prize?
Okay, Chadwick Porter 9478 left a comment on Les Egger's podcast episode on YouTube. He said it was very informative, and he wants us to keep them coming, and that the episode was great.
All right.
What did he win?
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
What did he win, Bobby?
A companion's T-shirt.
Those
So
companions T-shirts are hot.
they got a
commodities.
pocket. I
Yeah.
love a pocket in
Yep.
a T-shirt. Yeah, don't you?
And I've got a companion shirt on that also has a pocket.
Look at y'all.
We're gonna send Natasha home with she's gonna get to pick out her companion shirt.
All right.
Awesome.
How about that?
Door prizes.
Yeah.
This is great.
It's just been a lot of fun.
Yeah. Thanks for
has.
being here.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
What's Bronson like on a daily basis? Is he drink a lot of coffee and moody and
Bronson drinks a lot of coffee, but he is never moody.
ever?
No.
Ever.
Bronson is great. He listens to me complaining. He's great. He's very caring. So yeah, he's a great boss to have.
Yeah. Bunch of smart people.
Yep.
Help you make the right decisions.
Yep. Yeah, they will. All right, guys, this has been a lot of fun.
It has.
You got anything else, Dudley?
No,
Lanny?
I'm good.
I'm good.
I'm hungry. We've been talking
Always,
about venison and stuff.
We should have cooked something. Why don't we do? What's Vandy doing?
I don't know. Jackson, is there anything else? Jack, did you work out this morning?
I planned on it, but I'm a failure. I couldn't get up early enough.
Did you know he's a bodybuilder?
I know. He's your bodyguard, isn't it? I thought that's why you
Well, if
hired
I
him.
go somewhere, I want him to go with
No
me.
doubt about it.
'Cause I don't think anybody mess with me with him around. What are you bench pressing these days?
I don't want to. I'm not a braggadocious person, but I can bench press 315 pounds.
No, there it is.
How many?
we
how
ought to
many
have a-
times?
How many?
Oh, once. I'm not. I'm
how many
not
times
that
do you think
strong.
you can bench press Bobby? That's what we should do.
Probably like 27.
You know, we ought to have a contest. Jeremy in the back can bench press like crazy as well.
Oh, we'll have a strength contest.
How about that? All right, guys, this has been a lot of
Yeah.
fun. Don't miss that workout this afternoon, Jackson.
I won't.
Yeah, you know.
So, Natasha, thank you for coming over. And please, would you send this to your folks over in England and let them listen? And we just want to assure them that hunters, the way we're doing this, and hunting and enjoying our time being outdoors and processing the meat and eating the meat, that's the way to do it. There's nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely. And yeah, I'll have to come back and let you know what they think. I'll send it to my mom, my dad, my sister, who, you know, have the biggest opinions on this, and I'll see what they think.
Well, and you know, it is a culture thing, you know, and we're so close to it here. So it's hard to understand it until you get down here. I mean, or not necessarily down here, but come experience it yourself. And you will know, everybody, you know, knows that it's just that we all just love nature, and that's really what it comes down to.
Mm-hmm.
One thing, Natasha, if they start saying, well, let's take Natasha snipe hunting, what do you think about that? Don't go.
Don't go.
Don't go.
Snipe like the birds.
Yeah, there are snipes. I mean, but yeah, there's an old.
Have you ever been? Has anybody ever pulled that on you?
No,
Dudley, what
Bobby.
about you?
I grew up in this culture.
No, sorry.
And did they get you?
No. But I've heard.
Have you
about-
gotten somebody else?
I have gotten somebody else. Yeah. There's an old thing where you tell somebody, we're going to go snipe hunt tonight. And you take them out in the woods and they'll have a bag. You give them a bag. And you say, okay, you stand over here. We're going to run the snipe towards you. Here's your flashlight. And then you just kind of leave them out there.
I
Is that
hope
what
no
you've
one would
heard?
do that to me.
No, that's 100% what I've heard. I've been prepared to be asked to go snipe hunting my whole life.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So don't do it.
yeah.
Okay,
Don't
got
fall
it.
for that one.
No one's tried that one yet. I've got it.
Well, this has
And
been
don't
good.
eat a green persimmon either.
Yeah, don't eat a green persimmon.
Okay.
They're
So-
quite sour.
So, listeners, our television show, the Gamekeepers of Mossy Oak, which, Natasha, you haven't gotten to see yet, but it's on the Outdoor Channel, 8 o'clock on Tuesday nights. The new ones are rolling. We've got a cool one on catfish grappling that's
It's coming on
up.
up, and we're going to be re-releasing our older episodes from this year on YouTube soon. So get ready.
Yep, and the Nosler giveaway.
Oh, my
Natasha, you
goodness,
should enter this. You
Natasha,
could win a
You
Nosler
could win
rifle.
this. We can't, but it's awesome.
What
Yeah.
can I win?
It's a Nosler rifle. It's an heirloom quality rifle with a Leopold scope, and it's got everything that you would want.
6.5 Creedmoor.
I
You
will
say
certainly enter.
Leopold, I say loophole.
That's right.
And I say go to Gamekeeper Giveaway on the website and sign up to win.
Boom.
There
There
you
you
go.
go.
Natasha, this has been fun. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
Thanks so much for having me. It's great to meet you guys.
Yeah, come back anytime.
Wish I had a British accent.
Yeah.
I just can't.
Did you show her? You need to show her where we mocked you up in England
We could.
with your beret on. Yeah, we got him over.
Photoshop has not been my friend around here. Lord have mercy.
You'd look good in a beret. Yeah.
Why don't you say goodbye, Dudley?
Goodbye, Dudley.
Get us out of here, Jackson.
Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of the Gamekeeper Podcast, and be sure to tune in again. Subscribe to Gamekeeper Farming for Wildlife magazine, and don't miss the Mossy Oak Properties Fistful of Dirt podcast with my good buddy, Ronnie Cuz Strickland.